Hey guys, it's LOL Rybun or Rybun here, and today I'm going to be talking about mods in particular. We're going to delve into one specific mod after I go over a general overview of what I would like to do with Heroes of Hammerwatch mods on my channel. I've thought about this a little bit, and what I would like to do with mods, in particular on this channel, is I think it would be best to cover mods individually. At some point we may do a modded playthrough where we have multiple mods enabled, like maybe multiple classes or something else like that. But for now what we're going to be doing is I'll be doing videos where I break down and overview the content of one particular mod. There's a few of these that'll be a lot harder to do that on, but for now, we'll stick to probably class videos and kind of cover what I think you would take on them. May not necessarily be the best thing, but based on my analysis, maybe you can figure out something else. So for the future, what I'm going to be doing is to make these faster on myself, since they're more so showcasing videos and not playthrough videos, unless I do decide to do that playthrough video. What I'll be doing is I'll copy my main profile. I'll select a singular mod, such as what we'll be doing today, which is my personal favorite class, although it's kind of, it scales way too fast. It becomes really overpowered, is the Arcanist class. So today, that's what we'll be looking at, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So going on with character creation and modded, those of you who have played modded will know this, but you generate a new character of any type, it doesn't really matter, and you create them, and then when you go into your town, you head on over to this guy who's like the general modded NPC of sorts, good old Kelly the Modder. And here you can look at test maps, you can go to special maps, you can do stuff like that if you have them, but since I only have the Arcanist class, this is the Arcanist. So what we'll be doing first is doing a little overview of each class's abilities. I'll tell you what I would max. I'll tell you what I think is the bread and butter or stuff like that. So for Arcanist, you've got Arcane Missile, which is your primary, which is probably the longest primary description you've ever seen, but how this works is it generates a homing Arcane Missile that does low damage, low base damage. The catch is, if your mana is above half, so for me that's like, what, 37 and a half, if your mana is above half, you consume a certain amount of mana, it's a flat amount, to create extra projectiles. So this one increases your base damage up to 4 Arcane Missiles, which would increase it up to 24 damage. This effect counts as using a skill for item triggers, so like blowgun and stuff like that will trigger off of this. The other thing is, Arcane Missiles scale off of both attack power and skill power. Cooldown and critical based on attack values as usual. This is very nice, but the scaling with attack power and skill power is what I believe to be what makes this class way too strong. I think it's a really interesting concept, but I think it's almost pulled off wrong in the sense that while this character has really low base damage, like 8 times 8 is, I may be wrong, but 64. So 64 damage is, I mean, it's a fair amount. It's not a ton. You've got classes like the Paladin that can get about that much, but when you're scaling off of both attack power and skill power, that's a little bit too much. And yeah, this won't be firing out 8 every single time. It could fire out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, right? So it you know, on paper, making it scale based on attack power and skill power, since its damage is lower, is fine. But there's outlier cases. I'm not sure what trigger them. But when I play this class, I definitely notice them. I have seen crits for like 1 million on a character, on an Arcanist that is level like 7. With the right items, it just happens. I have no clue how to explain it. I have no clue how to properly trigger it. But it definitely makes this class not super balanced in the long run, but still a lot of fun to play. The other bug involved in this class is the next ability, Teleport. Teleport on paper is not that bad. There's another class called the Astrologer class that pulls it off really well. But this class's teleport is very simple. It teleports you X amount of units forward. The mana cost scales with level, and you've got a scaling mana cost that decreases faster and faster as you level it up. So the benefit is scaling decreases more often as you level it, but it's going to cost you more, so the scaling will be more harsh. So perfect example, right now my teleport is free. Now it's 30 mana. Now it's 60 mana. And here's the bug, by the way. If there is a, like this tree, for example, is a wall, and my teleport distance, it would still be a wall, so nothing happens. However, on blocks such as these, where this is a wall, and for whatever reason, I know this because I've tested it, this is not a wall, you can teleport inside of this wall. This is really useful for stuff like getting up here from over here, or teleporting across trap rooms and stuff. In Act 5, not 5, sorry, 6, the final act of the Forsaken Tower, you can teleport off of the tower and just walk around on air. That being said, this ability is broken. As long as you keep yourself from doing that, though, it's not too bad. The other thing you can do with it is in the Act 3 trap rooms, or any trap rooms where you hit a button and the chest is moved somewhere, you can teleport to where the chest is originally, because you can't get there on a normal character, but on this character you can. And if you get there normally, then you can open it, press the button, and then you get another chest, so you can duplicate your chests. That's the other bug with this character. Third ability is Conversion. This basically tells you that it kind of sums up how this character works in one ability by saying you sacrifice your life to regain mana. This runes thing is kind of complicated, but realistically what it does is every 20% of excess mana, so if you're at full mana and you get 40%, then you get 2 runes. If you're at full mana and you get 60%, you get 3 runes. Yada yada yada, that's how this ability works. When you get runes, they expire over time, as long as you're not actively generating a rune, which means you have to use this ability every 2 seconds originally, and that does not scale except for with the ultimate ability. But as long as you're using this every 2 seconds, your rune will not expire, and once your runes are lost, they're gone until you get new ones. But when you have them, and the other thing is, sorry, the expiration is a little bit faster per rune. So if you have all 5 runes, you're losing runes faster, so you have the upkeep is much harder. Whereas if you have 1 rune, it's every 2 seconds. Each rune gives you a bunch of buffs. It gives you Arcane Missile attack speed, the teleport cost reduction. It buffs the teleport cost reduction time so that it happens faster, so you can teleport more frequently. And your Unstable Glyph, which is your final ability, hits harder and charges faster. I have not a lot of personal experience of using this ability, so I can't talk too much about it, but this is the next ability on the list. What it is you hold it. You hold the skill key to charge it, and over the course of 4 seconds, it charges to deal max damage with the max radius. I don't have enough mana to show you right now, me fully charging it, but I'll show you that later in this video. Fully charging costs an additional 100% of the cost, which basically means as you charge it, it's going to cost mana per second until it goes up to 100% of the base cost over that 4 second period. When it explodes, enemy projectiles are consumed, such as arrows and stuff like that. Now we've got the passives. The passives are really what makes this class flow, I feel like. And yet again, we come to the, hey, my life doesn't matter at all, but can I get some more mana? Arcane Being is basically a skill that says, I don't need my health, just give me mana. You get extra mana regeneration, like base, when you take this skill, but realistically, what it does is it takes a percentage of your HP away to buff that same percentage of your mana away. This applies to health and health regen, and mana regen. This also makes you, does a modification on the runes, where instead of losing all your runes at low mana, which is what happens when you have runes, if you get really low on mana, they sacrifice themselves to bump up your mana again, so that your second passive, which is essentially a mana shield, is able to tank damage for you, so you don't just instantly die. Yeah, so that's how this works. So when you have it higher, each rune is consumed for 5% mana each until you're back above the threshold. So this helps you not just lose all your runes when you get low on mana. Instead, they're converted one by one to mana until you're back above the threshold, which is, it's probably in here. Yeah, all runes are lost with Arcanist drops blue, 20% mana. So that's how that works. That ability in particular works very well with Arcane Barrier. The reason for this is Arcane Barrier, 60% of damage taken, or is taken from mana before life. Each point increases, or each point of damage consumes 3 mana. So the 3 mana thing's kind of hefty if you think about it. So if you're going to take 200 damage, you take 600 points of mana in damage. That's a lot of mana to lose, which is why you need stuff like Arcane Being, where you have multitudes more mana regeneration, and as such, I think mana regeneration is the most important stat for this class. It keeps you constantly using your extra projectiles, keeps you alive. It's just, you need tons of mana regeneration on this class. This Arcane Barrier scales from 60% damage all the way up to 90%. At 80%, you can essentially think of it as canceling out the final level of Arcane Being, which is also an 80%. So while you lose 80% of your life, so let's say you had 100, now you have 20, and you take 100 damage, well, it redirects 80 of that to your mana, therefore essentially acting like there is no lost health. So once you get up to 90, you're essentially taking half damage to your health constantly. The downside of this is all of that damage is going to be converted into mana damage, which hits way harder. Yet again, why you need tons of mana and tons of mana regen. The ultimate passive, the final passive, is essentially just take all of my things and buff them. Runes last 50% longer, and at this level 100% longer. Arcane Missile is 10% luckier, 20% luckier. Luckier essentially acts like luck in the same sense that it does for evasion, and actually the same sense it does for these. I believe luck does work into the generation of how many missiles you spawn. I have noticed that personally, but I'm not sure if that's just something that I think is going on, because I've been trained to think that the luck stat improves everything that's chance based. But from what I've seen, the higher your luck and the higher your passive that adds more luck to your Arcane Missile, the more missiles you will fire out consistently. Then you've got Teleport, which now gives you movement speed and evasion. This is essentially like making the Ranger's passive for when you cast an ability, just hard-coded into the Teleport. Scales up to 20%, not 25 though, and it gives you a 10% movement speed buff for 1.5 seconds. Conversion may be cast without sacrificing life once every 6 seconds, or 8 and then 6, sorry. That basically gets you a free cast. You don't have to lose your health at all, And at the final level of conversion, that is the equivalent of gaining 3 runes for free. In other words, 60% attack speed, a bunch of other things. I'm not sure if it's a 60% chance or 60% reduction to the teleport cost reduction time, or if, that's what it implies, but I'm not sure. I haven't personally tested that, but I'm sure that's how it works. But yeah, you get free runes, and the final thing is it makes your ultimate lower enemy resistance in the explosion area. So up to 25%. I think it's 15 on the first level. Yeah. That being said, these are our skills. I'll tell you how I play it. Maybe you play it differently. I play the Arcanist as a primary build. The thing to note here that's kind of important is our Arcane Missile, when above half mana, consumes mana to create extra projectiles, right? That's great on paper. Our first level is 10 mana, so as you can see, I can very easily, actually not very easily, I can't even sustain that at level 1. Of course, that's because we have no points in the chapel for mana regen or anything like that. But your main priority is making sure you always have mana. You need at least 1 point in Arcane Barrier. And I would say in general, you want to match Arcane Barrier to the percent of Arcane Being. But it's a little wishy-washy at first. You won't have as many skill points as me either, especially if you're on a fresh profile. If you're further along in the game than me, you may have more stars, but what I like to do is you want to throw like at least 3 points into your mana regen. Now you can see I can totally maintain my level 1 primary. When you can maintain it, you can upgrade it, and then you check if you can maintain it again. Right here I can't maintain it, but my chapel upgrade will fix that. I think in general you want to just match these two. These are nice. This is very nice, getting this up. But the thing to note here is you won't benefit from a lot of this until you've got 1 point in a lot of things. So what I would do, I think personally, is I would grab conversion 1 so you have it in case you need a jolt of mana. And then here, if you have as many points as I do, I would think about Arcane Mastery, or do you want to just get more mana regen and more Arcane Barriers? I think this is a better bet here, so I think this is what I would take. The other thing you could do is take out this conversion point and put it here, truly maxing out your mana regen. So right now we can easily sustain this. We have a mana shield taking some damage for us, and as you can see, our damage is not super high, but it's definitely there. I'm gonna go ahead and buy all my town upgrades, the blacksmith, and all that stuff, and then get back to you. Alright, I'm back. Let's talk items, chapel, all that stuff. For blessings, you're going to take Path of the Defender. This is pretty much a staple of every single build, especially when you're in higher NGs. This is super important. Pretty much a no-brainer. I would always take Path of the Defender. Blessing of Mind is what I would opt to take for the second blessing, because, I mean, this essentially, I guess you couldn't say it really does, but this boosts your damage because you're constantly, or hopefully constantly, going to be doing the extra projectiles. It boosts your survivability by making your mana shield more reliable, and it boosts your ability to teleport, to get away. It does nothing bad for you. This is essentially, if you packed health regeneration, mana regeneration, evasion, and so many other things into one ability. This is just a staple of the build. Anywhere you can get mana regen, you want to get it. For the third one, you take Symbol of Essence. If you're gaining health, which is the thing behind your mana shield, you don't have to worry about it so much. And then the other thing is, when you're gaining this health, you're able to then sacrifice it to get more mana, which is super important. Divine Strike is what I opt for here. This is mainly because when you have 5 stacks of your runes, you'll be attacking 5 times as fast, or sorry, not 5 times as fast, twice as fast, And when you are attacking twice as fast, you're going to need something that can keep up with that attack speed, such as Divine Strike. For Fountain, I'm going to take my usual stuff for this run. That's not super important for this character, but here, I'll scroll through it slowly so you can look at it. I've got Glass Walks, Treasure Hunt, Gentle Traps, Toppled Towers, Safe Corridors, Demolished Spawners, Mysterious Guidance, Plentiful Gifts, It's Your Lucky Day, Enemy Reinforcements, Lousy Consumables, Dry Springs, Relentless Threats, Agile Adversaries, Enemy Overseers, Minor Strike. For statues, we've got Callus, Cedric, and Wilmer. Callus for attack power, which you scale off of, Cedric for skill power, which you scale off of, and Wilmer because this procs on your primary attack when it costs mana. Therefore, adding a ton of base damage to your primary attack. I think these are the three I would always take. You could make an argument for other things, but because you scale off of both of these, this is like a maximum attack power build, I feel like. So this is what I go for. As far as items go, you're going to aim for a Heartseeker and a Lucky Hat. My reasoning for this is pretty simple. When you max out your town, you get 15% skill crit, but you only get 12.5% crit from your primary attack. So you want to maximize both because, or you want to maximize your primary crit, sorry, because my brain was all boggled. I thought you could crit off of skill crit on Arcane Missile, but you can't. It says you can crit based on your primary attack's crit. So you want to maximize that crit chance, so you're doing the most damage. So you go Heartseeker and Lucky Hat, because I play this build like a primary build. Sorry if you can hear that noise in my door. That's my cat just trying to get in here. I had to close the door because yesterday I tried to record the same video and he kept rolling on my keyboard. For other items, it doesn't really matter too much. I just grabbed Heartseeker and Lucky Hat. And last but not least, I forgot to get them, drinks. When starting out, you cannot take Incendiary Demise. You just don't have enough health. You don't have enough health to maintain Incendiary Demise. So do not take this when you start out. However, later on in the game, you can take Incendiary Demise, but because you're losing 80% of your health, it's a lot harder to take Incendiary Demise. I'm going to go with a combo build. If you wanted to go without a combo build, you could. But I would go with Frenetic and Wicked Sickness for the combo. Sorry, I just slammed my keyboard on accident. You're going to take Elemental Bruiser here for extra skill damage and extra skill cost. I think this works on your primary. In fact, before we buy it, let's check. See, there's the crazy numbers. 72, 42, yeah, 21. So that does increase your skill damage, both through, I believe through Wilmer and through skill damage. You could, there's no reason to take Starlight Singer. I thought there was before, but now that I've properly read the descriptions, you don't get your crit hit chance from skills. So instead of taking Starlight Singer, you're gonna opt for something else. You could run. You really don't want to run Overflowing Physique, but in the earlier stages of the game, right now I have 54 mana regen, so I regenerate all of my mana in less than 3 seconds. So Overflowing Physique actually wouldn't be that bad to gain 50% of my health. But I'm going to take Enchanted Slammer here as an opt-in for Incendiary Demise. For your final drink, I guess this is kind of up to you. You could take anything here. Evil Infusion may not be too bad. The only downside is you're going to be healing for more, but you're also going to lose health while hitting with your primary. But you're going to be healing for a lot more, so this is probably actually maybe the drink you take. I'll go ahead and test it in my run and tell you guys how it works out. The other thing you could take is any of the defensive drinks like Groovy Ghost, Mellow Mist. You could take really anything. Double Thriller for extra damage dealt. Actually, I may take this instead. This sounds really nice. Since we're taking half damage to our health already, taking an extra 25% damage is not going to even bring that back to full. So that's what we'll be doing. I'm going to go ahead and do a run on NG, I don't know, 3 maybe. And I will get back to you guys when I can show you some of the stuff, like the ultimate ability in town and the chest bug. I've packed a lot of keys for this, so we'll see how it goes. Here's some proof of the fact that you can teleport, into, there's a glass walk here. So actually maybe I can't show you on this one. But you can teleport into this black space here normally, and you can't teleport through these walls. And the other thing I should show you is the missiles definitely do home. So that is very nice. The only problem is, unlike a lot of classes, like the Ranger where the arrows split, or the Sorcerer where the primary bounces, or the Warlock where the corruption, or whatever you want to call it, spreads, this character does not have anything to handle a ton of mobs at once. So for a lot of the larger rooms, you're going to be taking a while to clear them. That's where your runes come in handy. You really need that extra attack speed when you're fighting larger numbers of mobs. As you can see, NG3 is a joke for a level 1 Arcanist because of the scaling built in. I have 100 skill power and 283 attack power, so I'm hitting very hard, even at... This is not how I would tackle this trap, but this is something you can do. And as you can see, my mana is making these traps essentially worthless. Okay, so we're at our first boss fight. I know for a fact this character's stat is, or I believe, I'm not 100% sure now that I say that, this character's stat is mana regen, just like the Sorcerer. And maybe skill power too, but the unfortunate thing with custom classes is that you can't just look at the class title and figure it out by looking at, oh, this class adds this. You have to kind of check all your stats beforehand to figure it out the first time around. So I believe it's mana regen or skill power. So on mana regen we've got plus 11 from class titles, and on skill power we've got plus 20. So we'll check out what happens when we beat this boss. So as I said, we had plus 11 and plus 20, and this is still plus 11, and this is plus 22. Okay, so I lied. This is actually skill power. So the Arcanist gives you skill power per boss completion for the class title. Alright, I'll see you guys in Act 3 when I can show you the chest bug. Okay. Actually, right after entering Act 2, there's another bug here, where since this is just a wall with an opening on the other side, you can actually teleport through locked doors. You don't have to find the button at all on this class, which is one of my personal favorite things. Although it is a bug, it's really helpful because I hate finding the button. Boss number 2. On this boss floor, you can actually teleport into the void over here too. As I said, this class is very buggy in terms of its interactions with maps. So hopefully we'll find a chest here that I can show you the effect I was talking about on. Alright, so we found a chest with a button over here. This is actually extremely funny because this is one of my favorites, because you can actually completely avoid the trap both times. So you can teleport to the chest, and you hit this button, and you get your item. And then you come down here, you hit that button, and you'll notice there's the chest. The other thing is, I forgot to mention earlier, as you'll notice, I lose 66 health from my base because of my passive. However, items I gain health with do not get decreased by the passive that reduces health. So if you got something that added 40 health, you would get the full 40 health, not 80%. Yeah, as you can see, with the scaling I was talking about, I mean, look at some of these numbers. I can't tell if they're only 200,000s or 2 millions, but some of them are just absolutely ridiculous for a character of this level. And that's why I would not personally recommend playing Arcanist, because even with a base level 1 character, if you have the statues and you have the other stuff, you're just gonna become strong way too fast, and it'll kill the challenge of the game, which, I mean, for some people that may not be an issue, but if that is an issue for you, I would not recommend playing this class. The other thing is, if you play this class at level 1 and you get attached to it like me, like I really like the concept of this character, but I can't play it with, like, you know, with intentions to play through the game, because it's just gonna be way too easy. And every single level will be an absolute breeze. I'm not sure if later on, with the excessive amount of damage that you take, if this class will actually work out well, like be very viable, because you may die way too fast. But from my personal experience, and I've only pushed to maybe NG 10 on this character, from what I can tell, that does not happen. But I haven't done anything above NG10 on this character before, so I don't know if that's something to maybe balance it out or not. Here's another one of the teleporting chests. We grab it, we hit the button, we grab it again. That's the other thing that makes this character... I'll show you if I make it to the end. My plan is to end this with me showing you walking on air on the final act, and then I'll show you my items. If I make it to Thunder Snow, I'll show you my items, how many I have, and then the other thing is I'm going to show you the ultimate ability, since I'll have skill points once I get back to town. Oh, by the way, I totally did not notice this until now because I wasn't paying attention. I can't test it really either, but I'm pretty sure Evil Infusion is either A, not healing me on my primary, or B, it's not charging me health because it's my primary that's charging me the mana. I'll have to take off Symbol of Essence and check that. Hopefully I remember to do so, but if not, it's something you guys could check. And I ended up dying. I had quite a few extra. I had probably three extra items that I wouldn't have had otherwise. Yeah, we died. So let's go ahead and check out the ultimate ability and show you what your life will end up like when you max out your passive. I think we can also max out the primary. Alright, so we'll showcase some of the abilities at max level. Here's the ultimate. And whenever you want, you can release it. At this point, it's max charge. You can also move around while casting it. It's a little awkward since it's on the E button, but you can move. And there's its damage. Show you that again. The max primary, I should probably do this away from the training dummies. Here it is. And as you can see, I can actually maintain the mana to cast this in town. I'm not sure if that's true outside of town. So here's the maxed out teleport range. Also, as you can see, the cost is scaling down much faster. And here's how we get runes. And here we have 5 runes. So let's see how fast. Yeah, the scaling down of the teleport cost goes down much faster. Here's the maximum attack speed with 5 runes. Actually insane. Oh, whoops. Alright. And last but not least, I don't know if you can cast this while casting ultimate. You can, actually. So there's the damage with 5 runes on the ultimate. The other thing we're going to test, which I'll go over right now, is does Evil Infusion heal you without costing you health. You'll see I lose health on my teleport there. I'll just get rid of all my blessings. And no, Evil Infusion does not work on the primary. Right? I think that covers about everything I'd like to talk about with the Arcanist class. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you'd like to see stuff formatted like this, because this is the way I thought it should be done, please let me know if you like the way that I'm going to be doing it, one class at a time. If you think I should do it a different way, or sorry, one mod at a time. If you think I should be doing it a different way, please let me know down in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, requests, anything else, please let me know please let me know down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.